Imagine stepping into like this beautiful sprawling house. The floorboards are creaking a little bit under your feet. You can smell dinner wafting from the kitchen. And four incredibly distinct, charming guys are just looking at you from the living room.
Oh, wow. That is quite the setup.
Right. And suddenly this shared space just becomes your entire world. You have these communal dinners, late night conversations in the hallway, all these quiet moments of overlapping lives.
Yeah, it's chaotic, but it's cozy.
Exactly. It feels perfectly balanced. But then, a piece of mail arrives. It's a wedding invitation. And it comes with this huge ultimatum. You can only bring one of these men with you to the ceremony.
Oh, man. I mean, that completely shatters the equilibrium right there.
It really does.
You take this perfectly balanced group dynamic, right? This whole ecosystem of casual intimacy, and you force it into a very sharp, very specific, and honestly highly pressurized focus.
Yeah, and that tension, that exact psychological scenario, is basically the beating heart of what we are unpacking today. So, welcome to the deep dive.
Thanks for having me back.
Of course. And for you listening, our mission today is to explore the Kickstarter for the anime audio drama Share Love Season 2, which, by the way, is officially live. We've been poring over the official campaign pages, translating developer interviews from Red Entertainment, and reading through press releases just to bring you the full picture.
Yeah, and looking through this massive stack of sources, I mean, it is so clear that this campaign represents a significant bridge between two very different entertainment cultures.
Definitely.
It's a real evolution in how we construct and, consume romantic narratives strictly through sound.
For sure. And just to set the stage for you, the listener, Share Love was originally produced in Japanese by the video game publisher Red Entertainment. And they built this incredibly loyal, dedicated following just by mastering the audio-only format.
Which is incredibly hard to do.
It is. And now it is being adapted and localized into English by Animedia Entertainment. And honestly, looking at Animedia's recent announcements, they are treating the Western audio drama market with just this unprecedented level of ambition.
Oh, yeah, they are not holding back at all.
Not even a little bit. I mean, they just announced a slate of upcoming English adaptations. And it includes Share Love Season 2, obviously, but also Heaven is Forbidden, Death by Barmaid, Mr. Song, Keep Calm, and The Legend of Glaive Season 3.
That is a massive lineup.
Right. All rolling out alongside Share Love.
Well, and releasing a slate that ranging from what sounds like high fantasy with The Legend of Glaive to modern slice of life to mystery. It's a huge statement of intent.
Totally.
Because for a long time, Western markets kind of treated localized anime audio dramas as like a niche novelty. Something you might buy as a bonus CD attached to a visual novel.
Yeah, like an afterthought almost.
Exactly. But by committing to this many standalone projects, Animedia is proving they view interactive audio as a primary premium storytelling medium. It's not just a marketing gimmick anymore.
No, absolutely not. And for those of you listening who are maybe curious about the mechanics of the Kickstarter campaign itself, the funding tiers, the physical rewards, the stretch goals, we actually broke all of that down in a previous deep dive.
Yeah, we went pretty deep into the weeds on that one.
We did. So we are not going to retread all that financial and mechanical ground today.
Right. Today is focused entirely on the architecture of the narrative.
Which is the fun stuff, honestly.
Oh, absolutely. We are diving into the psychological choices the story forces you to make, how audio mechanics replace visual cues, and a highly anticipated new cast announcement that completely shifts the emotional gravity of the second season.
So let's start at the foundation.
Yeah.
Because to understand why the stakes of Season 2 actually matter, we have to look at the unique environment of the Share Love universe.
Right. We have to go back to that house you mentioned at the beginning.
Exactly. So the core premise of Season 1 is that you, the listener, step into the shoes of the heroine. You move into this communal share house, and you are literally the only girl living with four very distinct men.
And, the only girl in a house full of guys setup is a classic trope, right?
Oh, it's basically the foundation of half of all romantic anime.
Yeah, exactly. But what makes it so effective in an audio format is how it creates this immediate sense of spatial intimacy. You are entirely reliant on sound design, like footsteps approaching from the left or maybe a sigh behind your right shoulder. That is how they build your reality.
That is such a good point. And let's look at the roommates themselves, because these four options are engineered to provide very, very different experiences.
They really are. They cover all the bases.
You do. So first you have Rei Takasaki.
Yeah.
And he is mature, flirtatious, a little hard to read.
Classic mysterious guy.
Yep. Then you have Yuichiro Fujino, who is basically this serious, reliable, detail-oriented anchor of the house.
He's the one paying the utility bills on time.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Next is Kazuyuki Shiba. He is quiet, a bit clumsy, but just incredibly kind.
Total sweetheart.
Yeah, completely. And finally, you have Yoshiro Hachisuka, who is the youngest of the group, and he is a Sunder chef.
Oh, I love a good Sunder.
Right. It's that classic character archetype where he is cold, prickly, defensive on the outside, but secretly a massive softy underneath. Like, he might huff and complain about you, but he is still cooking you an amazing dinner.
Exactly. And the genius of these 4 character profiles really lies in how they translate into audio architecture.
What do you mean by audio architecture?
Well, in a visual medium, you rely on character design to convey personality, right? The way a character dresses, their posture, their facial expressions. But in an audio drama, the entire psychological environment has to be built strictly through voice acting, pacing, and the specific kind of auditory space each character creates for the listener.
Oh, I love that idea of audio architecture.
Yeah.
It is almost like each character is a different room in the house.
Yes, that is a brilliant way to frame it.
Like, okay, but think about Ray, the flirtatious one. He feels like a room with shifting shadows and hidden corners. His audio path probably features a lot of unpredictable pacing, maybe some whispering, creating this environment of mystery and, like, thrilling instability.
Yeah, and following that metaphor, Yuichiro, the serious and reliable one, is like a well-lit, sturdy room with solid oak furniture.
Oh, definitely. Very grounded.
Right. His vocal performance and soundscape are likely very grounded, with a steady rhythm. The audio experience with him becomes about stability, order, and just feeling taken care of.
And then Kazuyuki, the clumsy, kind guy, is like a sunroom. You know, it is warm, but maybe a little fragile.
Yeah, lots of natural light, but you have to be careful where you step.
Exactly. His audio path is probably full of hesitant pauses and soft tones, allowing the listener to step into a more nurturing role.
And then there's your sheep, though.
Right, the defensive chef.
Yeah.
He is the bustling kitchen. It is noisy and chaotic at first, banging pots, sharp remarks, but it ultimately offers the satisfaction of breaking down those auditory walls to find the warmth and quiet underneath.
It's so well designed. The developers essentially used these 4 pillars to explore themes of friendship, family, and romance from multiple angles. It allows the listener to safely test out different versions of themselves.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because who are you when you are with the mysterious flirt versus the reliable caretaker? The audio drama becomes this sandbox for emotional exploration.
See, but I look at that cozy communal sandbox, and I honestly think the plot of Season 2 is a massive risk.
Really?
How so? Well, because Season 2 introduces a completely disruptive element. Like we said earlier, you and your 4 roommates all receive an invitation to a wedding.
The infamous wedding.
Yes. And the bride is a former female roommate named Chizuru Ohei. And by the way, according to the press materials, that last name is pronounced Ohei.
Right. Good to clarify.
So it is Chizuru Ohei's wedding. But the invitation comes with a brutal dilemma right at the start. You can only bring one of the boys as your +1.
It is a fascinating narrative escalation, though, because it completely strips away the safety net of the group.
But is it actually a good idea? I mean, the whole appeal of Season 1 is the open-ended communal vibe. You get to enjoy the banter of the whole group dynamic.
Sure, you lose the group chats, basically.
Right. And if you force me to isolate 3/4 of the cast right at the beginning of Season 2, aren't you just making the story suffocatingly linear? Like, you are taking away the very thing that made the house feel alive.
I get that skepticism, I really do. It feels like you are losing the community. But narrowing the focus actually serves to deepen the individual bonds.
Okay, sell me on that.
Well, think about what a wedding represents, both socially and psychologically. It is a highly formalized, public display of love and commitment, and it is usually packed with family drama, social obligations, and massive sensory overload.
Oh, weddings are incredibly stressful.
Exactly. So by forcing a choice in this specific context, the audio drama moves away from the low-stakes comfort of the share house. It pushes you into an intense, focused exploration of what partnership truly means to you under pressure.
Oh, I see. So it relies entirely on the contrast between the private sanctuary of the house and the public scrutiny of the event.
Precisely. When you go to a wedding, you are essentially presenting yourself and your partner to the world. Who you choose to bring says a lot about what you value in a partnership when you are stressed out.
Wow, that is actually kind of deep.
It is.
Yeah.
And the developers at Red Entertainment actually outlined 4 distinct thematic paths based on your choice of +1. They are labeled simple reassurance, romantic escort, down-to-earth innocence, and peaceful everyday life.
Okay, those do not sound like character traits at all. They sound like emotional armor.
They are entirely about emotional armor. Let's debate them for a second. If you were stepping into a chaotic soundscape of clinking glasses, murmuring crowds, and wedding stress, which of those paths do you intuitively reach for?
Oh, if I am at a chaotic wedding, I definitely want peaceful everyday life.
Really?
Why that? Because I want someone who brings the quiet comfort of the share house with them, even when we are out in this stuffy, formal setting. Someone who can ground the experience and just remind me of our normal routine.
That's totally fair. I actually lean toward the romantic escort path myself.
Interesting, because you want the drama.
Kind of. A wedding is inherently theatrical, right?
Yeah.
I would want someone who knows how to navigate the social intricacies of the event, someone who takes the lead and makes you feel like the center of attention in a crowded room.
Okay, yeah, that does sound nice.
Right. It transforms a stressful social obligation into a glamorous experience.
That makes perfect sense. And then, I guess, simple reassurance would provide a steady presence when you are just overwhelmed by the emotions of the day.
Exactly. Just someone to hold your hand under the table.
Yeah. Well, down-to-earth innocence might offer a breath of fresh air. Someone who doesn't take the stuffy traditions too seriously and just wants to have fun at the reception. Sneak some cake early, that kind of thing.
Yes, exactly. So the choice is no longer just about picking your favorite roommate. It forces you, the listener, to evaluate how different partners fulfill completely different psychological needs when the environment changes.
It takes the training wheels off the relationships you built in season 1, basically.
It really does. But, a wedding storyline is ultimately only as compelling as the bride at the center of it all.
Oh, absolutely.
You cannot build a narrative around jealousy, shared history, and romance if the listener does not care about the person getting married.
Which bridges us directly into the major cast announcement from Animedia's Kickstarter updates.
Yes, this is the big news.
It is huge. They announced that English voice actor Ginger Sue has been cast as Chizuru.
Oh, hey.
And reading through the fan forums and industry reactions, bringing her on board is being viewed as a massive statement of quality.
Oh, her pedigree in the voice acting industry is exceptional. She has built a whole career on delivering highly nuanced performances.
Yeah, and just to contextualize the level of talent she brings to this specific audio space for our listeners, let's look at some of the titles on her resume.
Please do, because it's an impressive list.
It really is. So she voiced Farah in Hero Without a Class. She was Xiaoyu in Dimensional Seduction. She played Misaki in Flower and Shura, Ellie in My Gift Level 9999, and Yugur in Dusk Beyond the End of the World.
Which is just an incredibly diverse range of genres.
Right. It spans high fantasy, science fiction, slice-of-life romance, and dystopian drama.
And the diversity of those roles is key, but it is the way she approaches them that really matters here.
How do you mean?
Well, consider the technical challenge of acting in an audio-only format. In a visual anime, if a character is feeling a complex mix of, say, grief and joy, the animator can draw a trembling lip or a specific gleam in the eye to convey that to the audience.
Right, the visuals do a lot of the heavy lifting.
Exactly. But in an audio drama, the actor has to put all of that visual information into their vocal cords.
They have to carry the entire emotional weight through breath control, pitch, and timing.
Yes. Think about her performance as Yugur in Dusk Beyond the End of the World. The character existed in this bleak, dystopian setting, yet Ginger Sue managed to convey so much underlying hope and exhaustion simultaneously, just to the texture of her voice.
That is so hard to pull off.
It really is. Or her role as Misaki in Flower and Asura, where she had to navigate incredibly delicate romantic tension. She does not just read lines, she creates a lived-in history.
And that history is the exact mechanism required to make the Season 2 plot function, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Because in a lot of romantic narratives, the former roommate or the bride can so easily become a flat plot device.
Yeah.
Like she could just be a cardboard cutout used as an excuse to get the male characters into suits and create some artificial jealousy.
Right, and if the bride sounds generic, the tension of the wedding dissolves immediately. The listener has to believe through audio alone that Chizuru Ohei has a profound, complicated history with the men in that share house.
Yeah, you have to feel that past.
When she speaks to Rei, or Yuichiro, at the reception, the listener needs to hear the weight of their past in her tone. If her character feels flat, your choice of a +1 completely loses its weight.
By casting an actor capable of that level of auditory world building, Animedia is signaling that the expanded romantic universe of Season 2 is going to be incredibly emotionally grounded.
They are not just translating the script from Japanese to English, they are meticulously translating the psychological weight of the story.
Which honestly brings us back to the ultimate goals of this Kickstarter campaign. When we look at the developer interviews, the funding isn't just about covering basic production costs.
No, it is about delivering a richer, more textured experience overall.
Right. They are promising enhanced storytelling, which is totally evident in this complex branching wedding narrative. They are bringing in top-tier voice acting by casting industry veterans like Ginger Sue.
And they are building out these deeply immersive, individualized romance paths.
Yeah, plus they are offering exclusive physical and digital rewards to the backers who are actually making this localization possible.
And zooming out to the bigger picture of the industry, fan-supported campaigns like this are just vital. They act as a direct bridge between incredible Japanese source material and eager English-speaking audiences.
It's so cool to see the community rally around it.
It really is,
Yeah.
because localization, when done with this level of care, isn't simply about swapping vocabularies, it is about translating emotional resonance.
Exactly.
When Animedia commits to high-quality audio production and complex casting, they ensure that the subtle emotional nuances originally intended by Red Entertainment aren't lost in transit. It allows interactive audio storytelling to thrive globally, creating a shared, immersive experience that transcends language barriers.
It is genuinely fascinating to see how the mechanics of sound can create such a deeply personal, customized narrative experience. It makes you realize how much thought goes into the media we consume.
It really does make you appreciate the craft so much more.
Definitely. And as we wrap up our analysis of this campaign, we want to leave you, the listener, with a final thought to mull over.
Yeah, because when we put on our headphones, step into these interactive audio dramas, and are prompted to choose our paths, it raises a really compelling question about human nature.
For sure.
Are we making choices based on who we are in the real world or who we want to be in that fictional universe? If you had to choose a +1 to a high-stakes, stressful wedding right now, would you look for the grounding comfort of peaceful everyday life, or would you want a romantic escort to sweep you off your feet and navigate the chaos for you?
It's a tough choice.
It is, because the audio armor you choose to wear in a fictional world might just reveal more about your real-world emotional needs than you think.